Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for spending your valuable time with the Adapt 2030 channel. Winter outlook, Canada. Hibernation zone, cold. U.S., shivery, wet, slushy. Hibernation zone, glacial, snow-filled. Consumers moving their behaviors. Value-oriented purchases. Frozen pizzas, 18% increase. Value shopping, that's where we're going. Massive drought, EU. Crops dropping 7 to 9% on average. Rhine River super low. Barge traffic stops. 1897 full water. And we're going to have to charge through inflation just like this moose in the snow. Starting you off here, Farmer's Almanac since 1818, showing us the winter outlook. Shake, shiver, shovel. Looks cold up here. Brisk temperatures, hibernation zone, very cold, unseasonably cold, significant shivers. Lower 48, brisk, hibernation zone, same, cold, wet, and slushy, meaning a lot of snow for the southeast, but that heavy, dense, break your tree branches off your orchard kind of snow. Be prepared. Let's move over into consumer behavior. So bakingbusiness.com had a full rundown of bevy of articles how consumers are shifting their behavior because of price increases. Now, obviously, when there's a sale, we go buy. And this was specifically sherbet ice cream, promotional pricing or a sale in the 4-week period, 10% above what it was 2 months ago. So people are really starting to shift in now that the money is getting tighter and prices more expensive. And if we jump over to articles about wheat and bread, value-oriented merchants, dollar stores, club stores like Sam's, Costco, are where people targeting their money right now. It's cheaper to buy in bulk than it was to get a specialty item one by one. And also, frozen pizza prices up 18% compared to July 2021. And then the store bread prices were up 15% in the year. And we could expect more of the same, but the 15% this year is probably going to roll into 45% next year because it's going to be an exponential rise up as the grains are continually lost, more droughts, crop yields declining. And everywhere that you see, companies can now pivot over into charging more, gouging more. Wrong choice of words there. Gouging more. Because they're looking across the landscape saying, look at the massive inflation on foods, which is kind of a disconnect from the message we're receiving about zero inflation. So I think we're going to look at the companies, the actual futures pricing, and then availability in the fields and what we're seeing with drought and extremes. I'll let you do your own research on that. Steve Forbes warns a big financial crisis incoming. Meanwhile, the Fed raised rates again with the single biggest rate hike in 4 decades. Economists are forecasting that the Fed will panic and pivot, and they're going to start cutting rates again in 2023. Gold's going to soar. That's why Wells Fargo, Bloomberg, Goldman Sachs all forecast gold well above $2,000 an ounce. Ask yourself, do you really think big government's going to stop spending and the Fed's going to stop printing money? Call the Patriot Gold Group today before it's too late. Mention the Adapt 2030 channel when you call. They're going to give you some great service. Patriot Gold Group has a no fee for life IRA where your IRA or 401k can be in physical gold or silver, and you may qualify for the no fee for life IRA on qualifying rollovers. Give them a call, 888-546-7020 to get your free investor guide today. And with the knowledge that Patriot Gold Group is Consumer Affairs' top-rated IRA gold dealer for 6 years in a row, it'd be good to talk to them. 888-546-7020. And now on with the video. Eggs, refrigerated eggs, nearly 6% in the month, 47% over the last year. I guess if it was 6% this month and 6% next month, it would be 0 by the current calculations because it didn't increase. You know what I mean? But if you add all those numbers up like mathematicians do, you're going to see that type of increase. 23% increase on frozen dinners and margarine, butter, this sort of thing, 26% for the year. Now, these are the newest numbers coming out as of the 1st of August So let's add more layering on top of where the food pricing is going to go. Severe drought affecting Europe. 45% of EU land exposed to warning levels, meaning cut off your showers, no watering your lawns, and we're in a dangerous situation. Soil stress, vegetable stress, any kind of vegetation stress. And then we have the Rhine River here, people walking so far out. Now you can actually cross in areas by just walking across that river. Now normally it would be where the watchtower is on the left. Above that level you can see where the water generally is. And the barges are constricted to one tiny channel that is apparently so low that the barges can only run at maximum 25% load. And now that's even being constricted further this week. And you say, well, that's way down in central Germany. What about the powerhouse of hydroelectric Norway? Low water levels there too in the hydroelectric stations. So the government's going to start limiting electricity exports when the water levels drop to very low levels, which they are right now because it says low water levels. This is another example of resource nationalism. So most people are saying, well, they're not going to export the corn, like Argentina said, no corn exports. Other countries keeping whatever it is. India said, we're not going to export the wheat. We want to keep that in. We want to keep our people happy, so they're not going to riot. It could be anything on the resource nationalism side. Now, electricity, you think of it as a tangible, but it's not a thing you can put in your hand. But when any nation stops the regular export of a normal product, that's considered resource nationalism. Now, this is going to increase. It's already across so many nations on the planet. Now, as we come into the harvest season and we get some real solid numbers of how incredibly low the yields are this year compared with the averages. And then we're looking at the southern hemisphere as the alleviator of all shortages. Everybody's pinning all their hopes on Brazil and Argentina and Australia to give us the corn, soy, and wheat. But with the volcanic ash running through the southern hemisphere, which I've done several videos on, more and more indicators are coming out that the amount of water blasted into the atmosphere from the Tonga eruption is creating heavier, denser snowfalls, cooler temperatures, reflectivity from sunlight, and sort of a volcanic winter, year without a summer, light version. Compared to, a full Tambora eruption cooling the entire planet where agricultural fails for a year. This is going to be southern hemisphere based for this planting season coming. So as the harvest overlap with the understanding that the southern hemisphere is not going to grow to alleviate shortages, panic is going to ensue across the markets. And that's when you're really going to watch prices spike. When we get this overlap of two data sets of information, non-deliveries possibly occurring in the CBOT, and then from there it's going to snowball. Which the snowball will result in a market lockup, and the market lockup then kicks that pool ball snapping off into infinitum of monetary problems, and lo and behold, they could reset everything. And some more images of the Rhine River bottlenecks. The thing about the shipping is everybody's relegated to go down this very, 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 very tiny channel when normally they could be far over to where we're looking at where the rocks are. But all this barge traffic's now being sandwiched in look how close they are going up and down that channel there. Now smaller vessels could have taken, if the water was high as in normal times, off-channel routes, but that's not happening. I found these interesting photos here when I was doing a little research about what these very same areas looked like before all the waterworks projects had taken place. Now this comes from 1897 in the same regions we are talking about right now with the massive droughts. Looks like what was built then was along canal systems, and you could see docking ports. The habitation zones right at the river, so you could have just unloaded anywhere, almost like a mail carrier would have delivered. A little bit more efficient, I think, this way than it is done now. Which maps right up perfectly with the difference in June versus July forecasts, which were actually in August, so there's always a delay on agricultural monitoring. This is from Mars, monitoring agricultural resources. Corn down 7.9%, sunflower and soybean down also around the same amount, 7.9 to 9%. Now, there is a difference in this forecast model versus actual. So you have to realize the forecast that was projected back in June is now significantly different, 8% down what they forecast in June. So what's going to happen for the July forecast? We're now in August and the drought continues. These numbers are going to continue to increase also. So now add in on top another 5%, 8%, 10%. Then we're looking at a 20% decline in Europe. And you know, that matches exactly with what the trader I talked to up in Chicago was mentioning. That even though there is some crop availability out there in Europe, they're holding it in warehouses knowing the price will increase. And for the continuity of government, something like this, crops are being stored knowing that prices will increase. See, politicians are pretty smart that way. Hungry people change governments. So when I had that great interview, you can see that in the playlist, things mentioned specifically were smaller countries that rely on imports from Europe are going to get hit first. And we already start to see now civil unrest in so many places because of food pricing. You could tick the boxes from Panama to Sri Lanka and down in Nigeria, Ghana, and there's a few others tipping at the moment. As we see these crop forecasts continue to decline, those in Europe that control this are going to continue to keep it off the market. Now, at some point, there will be a release. And there's a fine balance as the way it was explained. The release of said crop is not about money. It's about social stability. So you're looking at factors in things above where money doesn't even matter any longer. So it doesn't matter if the price were to be doubling. Would some traders release and some those holding? Yes, they would. A majority of it, though, is about social stability. So if the price doubles or triples, they're going to hold it even tighter because tripling prices means people are going to get even angrier. Back to companies scraping some profits, successful results. Oh, yeah, bring it up. Take your valuations, your stock price. It's all about the food. Let's raise the price. Shareholders are happier. We're going to raise it to $945 million. So anything food is going to be the focus, which gives credence. We're going to have to run like the bull through the snow, finding our way through regardless of circumstance. Because throughout history, we've always made it through these tumultuous times. That moose is a perfect example. It didn't let the snow stand in the way. It just charged right through it. And if we think collectively like this, just charge right through it, it's going to be much better than standing back on, oh, the snow's too tall, we can't get through there. It's mindset. That moose has a better mindset than most humans. I do thank you for watching. You're going to need some storable foods. My Patriot Supply and Adapt 20, 30, 25-year shelf life, so you don't have to go out into the chaos. You can ride it out and know you have that peace of mind that you have those storable foods in your home. Hope you got something out of the video. This is a good one for just pure details, numbers, and statistics to share with your friends and family. Remember to like, and if you do want to share, those screen grabs are right there. Plus, I linked everything below in the description box. So below the video, you click that more word there, and then everything will come out. It'll expand the box off, and I put all the links so you can follow those and actually go directly to the news source. Pull that out so then you can share a link with a family member to start the conversation, because it's all about sharing. And I'll see you next video. Bye for now.